Who's really in charge? The question of where political authority ends and independent police work begins is a constant source of public concern. We expect the police to enforce the law without fear or favor, insulated from the shifting winds of political agendas. But how robust are the walls designed to protect this independence? The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry is providing startling new insights into this very issue, revealing deep-seated vulnerabilities in the chain of command. The testimony of Major General Petronela van Rooyen, a 42-year veteran of the South African Police Service with a doctorate in law, forms the basis of this, let's call it an analysis from the man on the street. Her evidence, presented with the precision of a legal scholar and the experience of a career officer, exposes fundamental cracks in the system. Drawing from her detailed testimony, here are 5 truths about the blurred lines between ministerial policy and operational police power in South Africa. A system that on paper is designed to be clear in practice, but it appears to be dangerously fragile. The South African Constitution creates a clear separation of powers. Section 206 mandates that the Minister of Police determines national policing policy, basically the what. This involves setting the broad strategic direction. Section 207, however, gives the National Commissioner of Police operational control and management, the how. The Commissioner is responsible for the day-to-day running of the police service in line with that policy. This division was put to the test with the Minister's letter of December 31, 2024, which directed the immediate disbandment of the Political Killings Task Team, the PKTT. According to Major General van Rooyen's testimony, this was a textbook case of unlawful overreach. While a minister can set priorities, directing the immediate closure of a specific operational unit is not a policy decision. It is an intrusion into the management and control vested exclusively in the National Commissioner. As Van Rooyen explained, a ministerial instruction ceases to be a lawful direction the moment it dictates operational specifics.
If we say the National Commissioner is responsible to manage and control the police service, that must be linked to manage and control the police service in the execution of its constitutional mandate. And the decision of a minister to close a political task team that was responsible for the investigation of crime, in my view, fell outside the mandate or authority of the minister.
So in short, what may be purporting to be a Section 2072 direction cannot be such a direction if it has strayed onto operational matters.
This isn't merely a jurisdictional dispute. It's a blueprint for dismantling operational independence on political whim. One of the most startling revelations from the testimony is an institutional void that existed at the heart of South African policing for decades. The Commission heard that the first ever constitutionally mandated national policing policy was only formally approved by Cabinet in July of 2025. For nearly 3 decades of democracy, the SAPS operated without this foundational, high-level strategic document. Prior to this, the police were guided by older frameworks like the 1996 Crime Prevention Strategy, various white papers, and a collection of internal directives. But the primary tool envisioned by the Constitution to align the entire service with national priorities, focusing on Pillars like effective policing, service delivery, community involvement, and ethical leadership was simply missing. This 30-year policy vacuum created an environment where ad hoc operational directions could be issued by the minister without a proper strategic framework to check them against. The absence of a formal policy created a power vacuum that was inevitably filled by direct political intervention. Crucially, the controversial directive to disband the PKTT was issued 7 months before this first ever national policy was even in place.
You indicate that it should be noted that the national policing policy was only approved by Cabinet in July 2025. Can I please ask you to indicate what was the position in respect of the national policing policy before that date? Was there one in existence?
No, this is the first national policing policy that was approved since the inception of the Constitution. There were strategies previously, for example, the crime prevention strategy of 1996, but this is the first national policing policy that was approved and is currently being implemented.
This is the first national policy that was approved since the inception of the Constitution. While external oversight is critical, it is useless if the internal command structure of the police service breaks down. The testimony detailed a shocking breach of this fundamental principle within the highest ranks of the SAPS. According to the evidence, after receiving the minister's letter, the National Commissioner explicitly instructed his deputy, Lieutenant General Sabir, to leave the matter of the PKTT disbandment to him. However, Lieutenant General Sabir allegedly ignored this direct command. He proceeded to issue the letter formally disbanding the task team himself, explicitly claiming to be acting on the minister's instruction. In doing so, he chose to follow an unlawful order from a political principle of a direct lawful command from his own superior officer. When the internal discipline fails so catastrophically, the system becomes entirely dependent on external watchdogs to act as a backstop.
And I think in this regard it may be important to note that oversight is really outside the organization. In this case, the issue related to internal disregard of instructions, and especially in view of a chain of command in an organization such as the police, and the compliance of an instruction is critical to ensure that policing operations and command structures are respected. So I cannot disregard an instruction of my commander. It simply doesn't work that way in the police for good reason.
This demonstrates that the greatest threat may not be external pressure, but an internal collapse of the discipline required to resist it. South Africa has no shortage of bodies designed to hold the police accountable. The testimony mentioned several, including the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Police, the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, IPID, and the Civilian Secretariat for Police Service. These entities form a dense network of oversight intended to ensure lawful conduct. Yet, as the testimony revealed, this backstop failed. The Commission heard that the Portfolio Committee on Police was made aware of the brewing crisis surrounding the PKTT as early as March, months before it escalated. Allegations were made publicly in a committee meeting, placing the issue squarely on the Parliament's radar. According to the testimony, despite this early warning, no action was taken by the committee to investigate or call police management to account. This inaction represents a total system failure, a breakdown of internal command, as detailed above, followed by a failure of the very external body mandated to act as the last line of defense.
The fact that the Portfolio Committee didn't act on that is, in my mind, a failure of their mandate. Even if I initiated an investigation, called the management of the police to come and explain, that would already have been an exercise of oversight on their part to ensure that the matter received attention.
The law allows the minister to provide both policy and directions to the National Commissioner, and the testimony provided a crucial breakdown of this nuanced but critical distinction. The easiest way to understand it is with an analogy. Think of policy as the government drawing a map. For example, we must prioritize reducing gender-based violence. A direction is the minister pointing to a destination on that map. For example, your focus right now needs to be on gangsterism in this province. The minister's order to disband the PKTT was neither. It was grabbing the steering wheel and driving the car into a ditch. While Major General van Rooyen conceded that an immediate direction could be lawful under the most extreme and rational of circumstances, for example, if a city were being obliterated, she argued that when a direction dictates how, it becomes an unlawful operational command. The directive to disband the specific unit immediately clearly did not meet this exceptional threshold, making it a dangerous abuse of the concept. This subtle legal distinction is the bedrock intended to prevent a minister from interfering in day-to-day policing. The evidence presented by Major General van Rooyen paints a sobering picture of a system where the guardrails designed to insulate police operations from political influences have been actively exploited. The testimony reveals a toxic combination of executive overreach by a minister straying into operational matters, a catastrophic breakdown of internal subordination, and the subsequent failure of external oversight bodies to act in time. The problem is not a lack of rules, but a manifest disrespect for them by key actors, revealing a system far more fragile than its constitutional architecture suggests. When the lines of authority are deliberately blurred, what truly guarantees that the police serve the public rather than the powerful? If you have any comments, please drop them in the comments section. And if you found any value in this video, please do like, share, and subscribe. And I will catch you in the next one.